All right, let's talk about Bitcoin, that digital currency your tech-obsessed nephew won't stop raving about. It's been called everything from the future of finance to a speculative bubble on the verge of bursting. What if the United States, the land of the free and the home of the "in God we trust" dollar, decided to create its own Bitcoin reserve? Now, I know what you're thinking, John, this sounds like the plot of a dystopian sci-fi movie. But before we spiral into a full-blown panic, let's take a deep dive into the potential implications of America going full crypto hoarder. Would it be a stroke of economic genius or a recipe for disaster? Buckle up, folks, because we're about to explore the wild world of what happens when Uncle Sam gets his hands on some digital dough. Now, let's be honest, Bitcoin has had a bit of an image problem. It's been associated with everything from online drug marketplaces to ransomware attacks. But imagine if the United States threw its weight behind Bitcoin. It would be like your eccentric uncle suddenly deciding to invest in your cousin's kombucha brewery. Suddenly, Bitcoin wouldn't just be the domain of tech bros and libertarian survivalists. We'd be talking about institutional investors, hedge funds, and maybe even your grandma. It might raise a few eyebrows, but it would definitely legitimize the whole operation. Of course, with great power comes the ability to completely screw things up. The US government has a mixed track record in financial markets. Remember the 2008 financial crisis? Yeah, good times. If the US amasses a massive Bitcoin reserve, it could control the cryptocurrency market. Strategic buys and sells could make them the puppet master of a digital economy. Some argue this influence could stabilize markets, but let's not kid ourselves, folks. This is the government we're talking about. Are we really comfortable handing them the keys to the Bitcoin kingdom? Let's not forget the geopolitical implications here. Countries are vying for power and influence. Power is tied to technology and cryptocurrency. Imagine the US building a Bitcoin war chest. Other countries won't just watch. Everyone wants a piece of the action. A new arms race, hoarding digital tokens, Putin outbidding Musk for Bitcoin. It's a gamble that could blow up. Chapter 4, Fort Knox 2.0 ? Proponents argue a US Bitcoin reserve strengthens national security. Bitcoin is decentralized and less susceptible to financial warfare. You can't just invade a country and seize Bitcoin wallets, but let's be real, this is the internet, where your grandma downloads a virus from a pop-up ad. Do we trust the government to secure Bitcoin? Have you seen their cybersecurity? It's like they're still using AOL dial-up. One phishing scam, and we're paying taxes in Dogecoin. It's a delicate balance. Chapter 5. Regulation or ruin. The US government loves to regulate things. It's like their love language. They see new technology and want to slap some rules on it. If the US created a Bitcoin reserve, they'd regulate it heavily. We'd see KYC, AML laws, and lots of red tape. Some argue this brings stability and prevents fraud, but excessive regulation can stifle innovation. It's a delicate balance. Only time will tell if it's a bet that pays off. Chapter 6. A betrayal of Bitcoin. Look, I get it. The idea of the US government embracing Bitcoin seems like something out of a fever dream. It's like finding out that your grumpy old neighbor is secretly a world champion poker player. It's unexpected, to say the least. But here's the thing. Bitcoin was founded on the principles of decentralization and freedom from government control. It was supposed to be the antidote to the very institutions that are now considering adopting it. So, if the US were to create a Bitcoin reserve, would it be a validation of the technology or a betrayal of its core values? Would it be a step towards a more equitable financial system or a power grab by the already powerful? It's a gamble, to be sure, and only time will tell if it's a bet that pays off or blows up in everyone's faces. Outro: to Bitcoin or not to Bitcoin? So there you have it, folks. The potential consequences of the US creating a Bitcoin reserve are about as clear as a glass of swamp water. It's a move that could upend the global financial system or maybe just fizzle out like a poorly timed tweet. Look, I'm not an economist, just a guy who spends an unhealthy amount of time thinking about this stuff. But if the US goes all in on Bitcoin, it's going to be a wild ride. So buckle up, hold on to your butts, and maybe invest in some antacids.